Okay, doing a little bit of work on whatever this truck is called. Free? Alright, so I'm doing a little more work on this truck here, and I'm just going to call it the 10-speed, not bound, free, whatever. And it's a decent little truck. But what I've done here is I upgraded my hay boxing 18859A, which that's a fantastic truck, by the way. I can't say that enough. Anyway, I upgraded that a while back, put a hobby wing in it, which it now has a I believe it's a Surpass Hobbies motor. I don't know. The Hobby Wing motor, I actually broke the shaft on it, which I've never done. So I put a Surpass Hobby in there, and I'm incredibly happy with it. So it's staying in there. Anyway, long story short, this is the brushless motor that came out of that truck. I believe it's 40-something kV. 44 or whatever. I will look that up later for you guys. So basically, what I had to do was this is a brushless motor. I'm going to have to change out the ESC, which I have one here somewhere. I have the Surpass Hobbies AB. I think it's a Surpass Hobbies. Yeah, it's a Surpass Hobbies 2 to 3S, and I think it's a 35 watt amp or 35 amp ESC. Probably a little much, but you know, it's whatever. We're going to put it in there anyway. It's one I got laying around. We're going to try it out. So this motor shaft was sticking out further past the edge of the body here, edge of the chassis. So what I had to do was take my Dremel and I had to cut a length off there. If you guys are going to do the same thing, I would suggest to put the motor plate adapter thing here on the motor first. Put it in there, see how much you need to cut off, and mark it with like a Sharpie or something. And that's all I did. I just took my time, I cut it, and then I filed down the edges so that I can fit this pinion on. Now this is the original pinion, and I wanted to use that, so the shaft and everything's still very tight. What I had to do to get this thing off of here was a lot of heat, time, and screwdrivers, and real large amounts of patience. It was very difficult to get it off there. When I put it on here, same thing. It was also very difficult to get on here. It's one of those push-on pinions. It doesn't have any locking screws. I'll just turn this around here where you can see. There's nothing to lock it onto the shaft, but it is very, very tight on the shaft. I don't think I'm going to worry about it. I put a little dab of glue on there, a little dab of super glue at the very end before I put it together. And I had to take and tap it on with a set of pliers just to get it to seat down as far as I wanted it to. And that's about where I want it at. So I'm going to give it a shot, see what it does. Hopefully it sticks on there. Obviously, I'm not going to go too crazy anyway. We still have plastic drive shafts and everything else to worry about here. But I think this is going to be a good upgrade for this. So let's just check it out. Okay, so the conversion is finished. I'm going to turn you around here and show you what I got going on here. For the most part, it turned out pretty good. I'm going to get it out and get a little bit of a run in on it and see how well it goes. But let me get you turned around, show you what it did. So there she is. And what I had originally done was put in this Surpass Hobbies ESC, which this thing, something is severely wrong with it. I'm not getting any speed at all out of it. So it's pretty much garbage at this point. I'm just going to chuck it out. Maybe I'll save the wires off of it or something. But what I had done was I went back to the one I had on a hay boxing. This is the original one that came out of there that went into salt water. Cleaned it out real good. Got it all cleaned up again. It's probably not going to last very long in here, but I can buy these pretty cheap. So if this is what I want in here, I'm going to probably buy one because it fits in there nice. I basically just got some hot glue underneath there to hold it down. I could 3D print something to put in there, but I like where it sits at. And you see, if I print a plate too high in there, it's going to mess with the steering. So I might just leave it the way it is. I have the original Boxing 18859A brushless motor in there. I think it's like a 4300 kV or something like that, or 3300. It's something like that. I can't remember. And it doesn't have any markings on there, so I'd have to actually look it up. I took the lithium-ion batteries and I just put a Dean's connector on it, kind of soldered it up and made it look a little bit pretty, so it's not so junky. I did hook in the lights here, but I'm not getting anything off of it, so I don't know if it's the ESC or if the lights have gone bad on me. We'll deal with that later, but everything is cinched up pretty good. This is my power button. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put it up on the box and just show you kind of what I'm getting out of this, and then we'll get it outside. Oh, and one other thing I forgot to mention was the steering servo is an Emax servo, and it was also in the salt water. So when I turn it on, I usually have to unhook this and hook it back in. It's something to do with the connection inside here. I've actually resoldered them and everything else, but I'm just not getting anything off of it. So it's probably time for a new servo, but they're pretty cheap, so I'll get one of those as well. Alright, so turn the remote on. I'm just using the Boxing remote, the original one. Hold down the power button. Okay, and this is my steering. And as you see, I don't have any steering until I actually unplug it and then plug it back in. Again, that's something to do with the salt. I mean, I didn't get it all out of there. I don't know. But I'm going to hold this down here a little bit, maybe just like this, just so you can kind of see what's going on here. There we go, a little bit better. So that's plenty powerful enough. That's plenty powerful enough for all the plastic drive components in there. I think that'll be perfect for this, actually. I really do. It's not going to break speed records or anything like that, but it'll definitely give this a much needed upgrade and make it a decent little truck to kind of play around with. So next thing we're going to do is get it outside and see how well it performs. Okay, so I called some time here after work. We're going to take out this little cheap Orchi or whatever this thing's called. I did the brushless upgrade on it. You guys seen all that. So now let's see just how well it does. I didn't bring the speed meter. I just figured I'd get it after work. It's been raining here a lot. So let's just see what it'll do, how it runs, if it'll even hold up. I think it will. I'm just going to run a pack through it and just see what happens. So let's get right to it. A lot of you guys have seen this spot before. It's should give me plenty of room to just open it up a little bit, see what it'll do. I do have to do it one-handed today. I forgot my GoPro, so you know, it is what it is. Okay, so again, one-handed driving. Let's just see what she'll do. Seems to run pretty smooth so far. I'm just going to troll it down here a little bit. Okay, got the trim figured out, and again, this is going to be pretty fun here. So let's see what she'll do. I'm just going to start off slow and just see what it looks like. Oh, that is so much better. Before, it would definitely not do anything near that. Yeah, that's pretty nice. Got a little pep to it now. That'll work, you know, pretty well, I think. Now the question is, will it hold up? So that's what we're going to find out. Kind of, like I said, we're going to run a pack through it and see what happens. I just got some stuff I can run in over here. Basically, I'm just doing some high-speed parking lot runs here. Not really anything I can get off the road with. These little guys here, they're kind of small, so you need like a specific area. I might be able to get over here in some of these rocks and something like that. I just want to kind of see how this thing's going to do on somewhat of an off-road situation. And these rocks over here will get, you know, if I hit it high speed, it'll give me a good idea of how it's going to move and if it'll be able to handle it at all.
Question is getting up here. Let's see if I can find an entry point. There we go. Okay. So far, not bad. I want to get a little more than that, though. So let's see if we can get back up there. Okay, so far so good. Doesn't look like anything's coming apart. Let's take a look at our axles and our dog bones and stuff. They all look pretty good. Now they're made out of plastic, you know, so eventually the pieces on there on the ends, the little I don't know, little pin pieces or whatever might wear out, but you know, it is what it is. So let's just see what we can do with it. We're going to look for some metal upgrades for it anyway. Maybe try to find some better differentials. But yeah, for right now, this will work pretty good. Now obviously you can't go too fast starting off right away on something this small because it's going to do exactly that. So let's turn down our steering rate, maybe half, see if that'll help us out any at all. You know, just like what you do with speed runs. See if maybe that gives us a little bit of a hand here, keeping it together. Maybe we can do some more high speed stuff with it. It's a little bit better. So I think what it's doing is it's got like a torque twist kind of thing to it. And I think that's going to affect it regardless of if I turn the rate up or down. So I just turned it back up. I like having the steering available, especially when I'm doing it one-handed. So basically what it's doing, let me show you what I mean by that. Okay, so we're going to start off just from standstill here, and I'm just going to hit it and see. I want you to see what it's going to do. So here we go. I'll keep the trigger and the sight as well. So see what it does. It wants to go to the left. So what it's doing is the differentials and stuff are not tuned, and honestly there's not a lot of tuning I can do to it as of right now, the way it sits. And what's happened is it's providing too much power to one side instead of it equally distributing it. So at least that's what I think it's doing. So let's get it up here, give it another little shot here and see what it does. So it keeps going to the left side. Let's see if we can get it to go to the right. Nope, it just wants to go to the left. So that would be something I would start on. And if you look at the stance here, let me bring it in here a little bit. Look at the stance here. See how it's kind of bowed out pretty good in the front? I mean, that's cool and all, but you don't really have any adjustment on any of the toe, camber, any of that stuff. So it's going to be what it is. There are other things you can do, but again, this is kind of where I would start because it's only a $50 truck. You don't want to go getting too crazy with it. And I think right now, putting in this brushless system with the ESC and the motor, I think that's kind of where it's at. It's a hay boxing setup. So yeah, I think the combo itself is only 20-30 bucks. I'm going to put the link in the description down here. That way you guys can see what I'm talking about, the price and everything on it. And I think that's where this thing needs to be at. If you go switching out too much, you're going to get into a lot of cost. But if you can keep this thing at or below $100, I think it's definitely worth it. Now, having said all that, again, I have to say it again and again and again, just because it's in my brain. You know, it's something that I see and hear. The hay boxing 18859A has been the absolute best at this level. It's the cheapest at this level, and it's the best performing at this level. It comes out of the box with the setup that you see in there, in this little truck right here. It comes with batteries. It comes with a control. The only thing you need is batteries for the actual remote right there. That's all you need. And it's actually a banging little truck. I beat the absolute dog snot out of that thing, and I continue to do it, and it just takes it. I busted what the hell did I bust on that thing? I broke a rim on a wheel. I don't know that I broke much of anything else. I want to say I did. Oh, I remember a CV, one of the, because the CVs are like that cheap China metal. Well, the threads on the CV started wearing out and the wheels just kept coming off. So I bought a new one of those. Did it technically break? No, but it's cheap metal. It's not going to last. The nylon nut won't stay on there, or nylock, or whatever you call that thing. So I just went ahead and replaced it. No big deal. It was cheap, like under $10 cheap. I don't even know what that cost was. So that was the most amazing that I've seen at this level, at that price point, at this scale. Now, having said all that, I still think that this little guy right here is a definite worthy buy at $40 to $50. It comes brushed. It's good for a kid, especially somebody starting off, kid, adult, whatever. It'd be a really good buy for them. And there's a lot of parts that are interchangeable. Let me get it over here and I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about. So there's a lot of these parts that are interchangeable on this truck. And what I mean by that is, like, on these 18 scale models, a lot of them use these screw-in wheel type setup. So those are interchangeable. The batteries in there are lithium ion, but you can run a LiPo battery, like the ones that I have for the hay boxing. They do work in here. The only problem that you have with those is the fitment in the little area that you have right there. But you could cut and chop and make it work. It wouldn't be that big of a deal. Let's see just how hot this motor is here. I'm just curious. Motor's not very warm. ESC is not very warm at all. So I mean, I think this is a really cool setup for it. It's a little bit on the mild side, but I think it's where this truck needs to be. Again, a lot of really cool parts on here. Arms and things like that would be interchangeable with some other things. The chassis itself is halfway decent. There's a lot of good to this thing here. I wouldn't knock it just because it's all plastic. I mean, it definitely can take a little bit of abuse, and I'm going to put that to the test, honestly. Matter of fact, one thing I'm going to do right now, which I don't typically do because it's kind of destructive on your RCs, but I want to see what a hit from the back of a tailgate would look like on a truck like this. So I know that it's all plastic. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to gun it off here, and I want to see what happens. Here we go. Nothing. Okay, so it kind of took that. Let's try it again. Let's see what else we can do with it. Okay, this time we're going to get a little different hit here. Try to hit it a little slow, and then right at the end we'll goose it, maybe see if we can do a backflip or something. No, but it did land pretty flat. Okay, so let's check out the chassis, see if we did any kind of damage at all. Because this is the kind of stuff kids and stuff's going to do. They're just going to be really rough with it. I don't see any damage at all. Nothing. So let's just keep going here. All right, since it's on its back here, let's see if it can do the self-righting feature. Okay, that's not gonna work. So we're gonna do a little bit of footage here. There you go. And honestly, these radios and stuff that come with the hay boxing, they got a really good range on them. So this would be perfect for what you're doing here. And I mean, it gives you enough speed to kind of tool around with it, kind of get your feet wet. Or if you're a kid getting into it, it's perfect for them. I definitely don't see a problem upgrading this a little bit here and there. Again, I wouldn't go too far unless you're going to actually replace the plastic drive line, and I haven't even looked into what would work on that. So I'm thinking some parts from WL Toys, some parts from Hey Boxing, maybe even some parts from some of the Chinese manufacturers might work on there, like the JBL stuff, or what's that one that everybody's got now, MJX or whatever. Some of those trucks might actually work pretty good on here, some of the parts anyway. But I don't have any of those, so that's kind of where I'm going to leave this at here, guys. I'm just going to run the battery out. If I end up doing anything, any kind of breakages or whatever, I'll show you. But so far, so good. It's been a pretty good little truck, and it is all plastic, like I said. Just keep that in mind with this guy here. You don't want to go putting too much power into this. I think the mild setup here will give you a lasting amount of fun for quite a while. So, and you know, before you break something. And that's another thing too. This thing does come with extra shafts and what else did it come with? Shafts and something else. There's a whole bunch of extra stuff that come with this here. So if you do break something, look in your little bag of parts, especially one of them drive shafts or whatever. You're probably going to have it there. I'm enjoying it so far. I'm kind of happy with the build, and it's been pretty easy to adapt this and convert it to brushless. We'll just see how far it'll go. In the next video here, I'll get this guy out with the WL Toys and the Hey Boxing, and we'll do some differences, kind of show you where everything's at. Now that I've seen this thing run, it's probably going to be really close to the WL Toys. And the WL Toys, I finally did get that thing working right, but I spent a lot of money on that truck, which I will never do that again on something that size. I tried to build it from scratch, and everything in the world that could happen just happened. It has a lot of slop on its steering and things like that. A lot of those Chinese parts are just, they are what they are. So, but anyway, we'll get all those out in the next video here. We'll kind of do a little bit of a comparison, and that way you can see where this thing sits. So I'm gonna have a little bit of fun with it. Just kind of see, you know, what I can do with this thing here. So I appreciate everybody watching and look forward to the next one.